Hey everyone, I'm Zaki. This is kind of a surprise Friday night hangout session uh, for how to LP on Penumbra. We're going to do this on a more regular basis, probably on Fridays, hanging out, uh, talking about the private dark pool that is Penumbra, and giving people a chance to check it out. All right. So, okay. So what is the state of play? The state of play is uh, it's Friday night. Penumbra's been live for about 3 weeks, and we're going to do a little bit of a guided tour of how to use the decks. Radiant Commons has announced that there is going to be a points program. There's this Bizarro ticker that you see. These are not your points. This is just a hint at what is to come. But probably the most important thing to understand is that if you are using the features of Penumbra that we're going to be talking about today, you can be you could be earning points eventually. So that's basically the TLDR of what it is. So we're like, and there's more to Penumbra than earning points, and there's more to all of this stuff than points. This is a system that allows people to privately exchange things of value. It is the first system of its kind, and yeah. So people would often ask the question, how do I trade? How do I buy stuff? How do I sell stuff? How do I provide liquidity? All of these things we're going to be covering in maybe the next like hour or so. Is probably like roughly what we're talking about. To kick things off, okay. So yes, there is this website, penumbra.computer. To kind of get started, again, you're going to install Prax from the Chrome store, and you're going to log in, and then you're going to need to have some money in your account. So you are probably going to shield funds from any of these chains to begin with. Common starting place is shielding some USDC from Note. But as you can see, we have an account that's doing this. Now, all right. So there's basically like a few different websites that are pretty handy for interacting with Penumbra as an exchange. So one is whoever your mini front host is. The other one is the Penumbra Dex Explorer, hosted at dex.penumbra.7cs.capital. Is a pretty useful site. I think we mentioned it on the last live stream, but I think we're going to use this opportunity to go a little bit deeper into how the Dex Explorer works and how it interacts with what you can see in your mini front implementation, in your Penumbra front end implementation. Okay, so let's like set out some different goals here. Some goals are in this for this session are to do some of the things that effectively earn you points. Now, what's the basic concept of earning points? So most of Penumbra is private, and so or is completely invisible to users. So how much funds are in this account, except for the fact that there's a live stream going on, is completely invisible to users. But you have no way of checking, this address, seeing how much funds are on it. After this live stream is over, no one will see where did this money say, where did it go, etc. What assets do I hold? And then you're going to you have a conventional blockchain. You can send and receive funds on Penumbra. But then there's this really unique and like kind of the entire, in some ways, point Penumbra. So one thing to sort of figure out is, what can I reasonably trade on Penumbra? Because what you'll see is okay, like on the swap interface, if I pick up my USDC, well, there's going to be a lot of stuff that so like it'll tell me clicking estimate here if I try to swap some USD for YMOS. There's no USD for sale, or there's no YMOS for sale. And so there's like lots of assets on the list, none of which have liquidity. But we can play with the DEX Explorer, and we can sort of start seeing where liquidity exists. So we can see that there's on the Penumbra Atom trading. So everything gets denominated in the asset on the left. So we can get through here. You can get through the same thing from clicking on pairs, clicking Penumbra, Atom. I can read totally. Cool. Penumbra, Atom, you can see the nature of the liquidity that's there. So there is on the buy side, Penumbra that is willing to accept Atom for sale at different Atom prices. And you can mouse over this and see the varying amounts of buy side and sell side liquidity that exists. And you can do this for various other assets. Pretty much, it seems like the richest liquidity environments right now are Penumbra USDC, and Penumbra, and then our good old friend of Shitmouse. Cosmos's most foul-mouthed meme coin, right? So what is it that you can do here? You can do these two things. All right. So I can come here, and I most likely will be able to do a swap of $10, 10 USDC, for Shitmouse. And you can see on the trading view, so if I do USDC, you can see the liquidity. So one thing that's sort of an interesting aspect of Penumbra is that in the DEX Explorer, you see both the direct, i.e. people who are providing liquidity on this pair, directly liquidity, and indirect liquidity, i.e. liquidity that is available by routing through other assets. And so when we come here and we look at our simulation, it shows us our routes, which are basically routing through from USDC. So basically, we're gonna the trade gets broken up among multiple LP positions and gets executed. And so you see price impact. One thing that I think is kind of obviously notable about the system is that Penumbra doesn't have a slippage mechanism. So you do get this estimate, but you aren't setting a slippage. Instead, you are sort of depending on the properties of Penumbra, its ability, its sort of MEV resistant design to get you a price that will roughly resemble your estimate. But let's say I wanted to do like something bigger. So now my price impact is like 5%. So I now have another option. And that other option is I could do this Dutch auction mechanism. And the Dutch auction mechanism has a couple of cool properties. So let's do a couple of things. So like one, let's just execute a trade, sort of an ordinary trade. So it's important that this doing a trade mechanism does not do anything to accrue points. It is a completely private mechanism, and we have no way of essentially associating you with this trade. But so I was expecting to get 414. I'm trying to explain Penumbra, but all of the Twitter comments are about my mustache. You know, mustache-based marketing still seems to be winning. All right, so that should have all executed. And now I got, as expected, 414. And I can actually go see my transactions. I can see my swap executed here. I can see my swap in the DEX Explorer. And so basically, you know, it shows the same things as like what I was expecting from the simulation. Trade got executed a bunch of different liquidity positions, giving me this. So now, yeah, so now I've got this in my wallet, and let's see. So let's say we wanted to do a little bit more size. Okay, so let's go and look at USDC. Good friend Shitmouse. All right. So now what happens when I do a Dutch auction and I do a little bit more size? So let's do 10 minutes, $200. It gives me target pricing, and it starts the auctions. So the first one will start in a minute. We do have to kill time a little bit to do that. So the other thing, so this gradual Dutch auction is the only thing that the points program can even recognize that you can do in the GUI. So to do everything else from a liquidity point of view and stuff that will accrue points, you need to use your the command line and you need to install Pickly. So I have Pickly installed. What you like, the sort of easiest way in my mind to set up your Pickly is to set it up in such a way is to set up Pickly so that you are so that you have the same key. So it would be Pickly init soft KMS. You can stash recover. Yeah, just have to import passphrase. And then you need to pass it a gRPC so you can set it up. But basically, you would import the same phrase that you use in your Prox wallet, and that'll give you the same key as what you have in your like web wallet experience, and allows you to easily kind of pivot back and forth between seeing your balances there and doing the LP activity on the command line. So now we have this GDA that's going on, and what we should see in the trading view is, so there's going to be basically a set of buy-side liquidity. You won't see it down here, but you'll see it in this buy-side liquidity of people who are, and if you're watching this live, you could go in and so effectively your liquidity is, but another thing you could do, so we have these Dutch auctions that are running. The liquidity is part of the view here. Shows up as liquidity that you would be able to trade through on the DEX Explorer. But then we can do some other. So now let's kind of get into the art of doing liquidity on Penumbra. So and again, so GDAs we can provide. Okay, so I have to change what I'm sharing. Did you want to come on stage? You are.
Well, it sounded very interesting, so I can, but continue. This is great.
Okay. I'm gonna switch to my terminal, and demo that. Let's see. Stop screen share. Present. Share screen. All right. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. So as I was saying, the easiest way to get your Pickly, like if you go to the Penumbra guide, which is, I can't share multiple windows, I don't think. Can I? I'm going to try it. Hold on. No. One at a time. So like if you go to, so the way of doing Penumbra guide.penumbra.zone. So yeah, this is your, like, how do I install Pickly and all of this stuff. But what I would recommend if you are providing liquidity on Penumbra is you just import the same phrase that you use for your Prox wallet. I'm going to go back to the command line and do that. All right, so yeah, Pickly init soft KMS import phrase will get you we'll let you import your passphrase from Prox, and then you can have the same wallet. And if we do Penumbra, so now I have, so like, what do we have here in the chaos? We have some LP NFTs here that I opened. We have auction NFTs from, we have our shitmost balance. We have our USDC balance. We have our Penumbra balance. And so all of that works. Okay, so what are some things that we can do? So again, so now we're just like getting into like the things that are both useful, i.e. like they're useful if you want to trade assets, the IBC assets that Penumbra currently supports, assets that Penumbra will be in the future, or these are also super useful for if you want to be farming points in the system. Points are basically a surprise, but we are paying attention to the what early users of Penumbra are doing, and should be reflected in the points program when we get it as it launches, probably like end of September. So anyways, what can you do? So Pickley. So these are all Pickley, TX position. These are all your commands for interacting with providing liquidity on the system. So let's say I wanted to put up a buy order. So TX position order buy. Yep. So let's say I wanted to buy, so let's go take a look at the pricing. So let's say, because I don't remember. Stop screen.
I have Pickley. I have the wallet.
You have your wallet.
Yes, my current Pickley is no longer talking to the chain.
What?
My current Pickley is no longer talking to the chain.
You need to edit. So there's two options, or like you're going to need to edit. So let me actually answer that question. Definitely an advanced user question, but let me show you how to do this. So you can do Pickley debug info, and this will tell you where your config file is.
I didn't see. You're not showing your screen.
Sorry.
Pickley debug info, but that worked. Yes, config file.
Okay, and then you can go to you can open that TOML file, and you just need to change the gRPC to like one of the mainnet gRPCs, which you can get out of this. So if like,
which I can get. Say it again.
Yeah, I'll show you. It'll be tricky to show, but if you go into, because I'll have to go because of the I don't think you can see my pracs, right?
No, I cannot.
Yeah, so if you go into pracs, into pracs, and you click on the hamburger menu and you click on RPC, it should, it'll show you the top selection of RPCs, and I believe any of those will work if you just put them into your Pickley config.
Okay.
The unfortunate reality of showing anyone your Pickly config is it does contain your private key, so I don't really want to show it on live stream.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
but if you're setting up Pickly for the first time, you don't have to deal with any of this. All right, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go back to. Oh, I wanted to share screen. And we can quickly just go look at what the price would be a good price to trade at. So midway price is the midway price is 42 42.14 shipments per dollar. So I should be able to go and say I wanted to sell. Let me just go back to the command line.
And you have a question in chat. Will the points be given to those providing LP or will traders receive them as well?
Traders are completely private and invisible, so we cannot give them points. So if you want to earn points, you have one option. You can do the GDA, which as you can see from my, I'll show you in a second. As you can see on my NFT, I have a vast collection, which I assume will only grow larger, of NFT LP positions and LP positions for my NFTs. So like these NFT positions, like these things, these are what we can give points for. You can see them in Pickly, and we'll be able to see them on the points website when they're live. These are the things we can give points for. Trades don't produce anything like that, and so we won't be able to give people points for them. So yes, if you want to earn points, do a thing that produces NFTs, which are auctions and LP positions. So let's do an LP position. So we can do TX position order buy. And so I could buy $1, one transfer USDC1 at 42. And I could set this to auto close. So these are a couple options. So one is if you just do this, it will create an LP position at this point. But that LP position doesn't really operate like a limit order. Instead, it will it will just continue to offer liquidity at this position until manually closed. But you do have this cool feature called auto close, which will automatically close a position once it's been filled. So basically, this operates as a limit order to buy $1 for 42 ship notes. And I made it angry. Why did it not like this? We'll figure this out.
I was parsing your command as you're writing it, so I'm glad to see you had to check on it.
Yeah, let's see, what did I do wrong here? Let's see. So okay, why don't we do does this work? Try this. I think this command is not aware. This work? Yes. Okay. That was my. So we now have our LP ID for this position, and let's go take a look.
Can you explain what you got wrong?
Yes, I can explain what I got wrong. What I got wrong was I was, Pickley is sort of midway through the process of rolling out understanding asset denoms. And so view balances up here, which is somewhere up here, was showing things in terms of, like the 10 to the 6th version. But what I had to do down here was actually specify as like 1 million UUSDC and 42 million USHIP-most. Definitely make that add that to the list of little UI frictions that need to be eventually taken care of. But this is why there are very few people who are going to be competing with you in the points farming at this stage. It's still early days. All right, so let's just like interpret this. So position ID, this is a value that is going to be known only to you, but it is a public it is a public identifier. And it's a public identifier of this position. There's a transaction fee. It generated the proofs. It broadcast a transaction ID, and you see that it was included. And we can take this position ID. We can share the window. We can take this position ID, we can put it into the search box on the upper right-hand corner, and now we can see what happens with this position. It does seem like I made something because it's showing an unknown asset. Interesting. All right. Let's try closing this. So we can do order, position, close. We can close this position ID. Then let's try it again. Okay, did that work? That also seems to have not been super happy.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
Here it says sell unknown at unknown. Is that because you're looking at this as if a public user, or is that just a random
No,
thing you
I
are?
think it's because I'm not doing the denums right.
Ha. You had them capitalized. I always see them lowercase.
Yeah, it was capitalized in the example. I'm gonna try.
I have been bit by that particular thing. This is why I'm in. Assuming the audience is watching, I should note I have no connection with Penumbra other than it's awesome technology, and I look forward to it doing its thing.
Let me figure this out. So, okay, we're gonna try with shipmost one more time. If I can't figure it out, then I'm gonna switch to a denom that I know how it works. Oh, this is my pickly version up to date. Okay, I'm gonna update pickly. That might also be a relevant part of the story.
For bonus points, when you're all done, grab your command line history, delete all the ones you don't want to include, and publish it.
Yeah, I could do that.
I'm like, I want to copy and paste on the screen and try it on mine.
So that doesn't like it. It doesn't like that because it does. So this is what, like, this is basically telling me it's like you are trying to to buy an asset to fund this with an asset that it doesn't know about, and it's like confused. This is what the root of the bug is. And what I am not sure how to do is actually make this position. So there's another way we could do this, which may be informative or might not be. So we have this idea of providing linear liquidity as well. So this is more like providing ranged liquidity on like Uniswap or Osmosis. So what we can do is we can do floor price. And upper price. See if this works. Hmm. It sort of implies I'm doing it wrong, but okay. I'm going to go do a pair that I know how to do, and we're going to come back and figure this out next time. So here's a simpler one. So easiest thing to do is provide. So this is providing Penumbra USDC liquidity. So this spits out a bunch of different LP IDs, and we can go look these up.
Mustache Dow. Someone says in the comments.
So yeah, we just opened. So this is a position that was opened, providing a very small amount of liquidity. I think I put in like $1, but it split up those liquidity over a bunch of different positions. It's set 100 basis points as the fee tier, and so just to like kind of go back and do like, let's break this down again. All right, so let's break down my command. So this is just setting my home wallet, which is the pickweed that I use for testing. This replicate function basically gives you the submenu linear. There probably will be other replicate functions that come along. So the units are going to be U Penumbra and transfer channel to USDC. We have, let's see, so this was, how much was this? $1 of USDC that we're going to supply as liquidity between a price of 0.4 and a price of 0.7 for a 100 basis point fee. And this is like your standard. This is the sort of standard par for the course. You can think of this as like ranged liquidity within on something like Osmosis. We could also, so I wanted to show how to do, and then it opens a series of liquidity positions, replicating a linear range across those. And so that all gets executed here. Another thing that you could do, so let's be right back. So another thing that's like let's do this this thing is a helpful kind of position. So let's say you wanted to buy a bunch of you wanted to put out a bunch of limit orders for Penumbra. So this is buying up to 400 Penumbra at a price of 11 cents. Pretty sure. Yeah, 11 cents. No, so this is for Adam. Let's do USDC. So this should be more like 50 cents. Let's do 55 cents. So buy 400 Penumbra, price of 55 cents. And this is duplicate the order 10 times so that you get, so like, and this is useful if you want to do like a bunch of limit orders that'll actually get filled. is to like make small ones and then duplicate them. The reason why this is easier is they're likely to get filled incrementally by people's trading activity. Whereas if you get one big limit order relative to the overall amount of trading activity in the market, it will, and so it's like very easy to do this duplicate feature. So,
question: is there a way to see the the bushiness in some sense for how I should divide my orders? Is there a way to see what's in the market, so you know what
yeah,
chunk
I mean,
size
you can get a sense of, well, you can get a sense of it from, let me switch to the Dex Explorer. Let's see, do this. Share my screen. So if I were to go to Penumbra, USDC, this is a really good question. So when we come down here to the order book, you can see kind of the size in of most people's orders. And if we were to like reverse this, USDC, so you can see it now in dollar terms, generally the size of liquidity positions. So they're like between like $3 and like $150. So, I would say I would think that something like this is like, it's like optimal to think of that something like this as like $10 positions, $20 positions is kind of like what you were doing. This pretty sure it's in the latest release. Num copies. It's too much. Why is that too much? Is there an extra zero here? No, that seems reasonable. Okay, let's do. So now I have my limit orders. And we can go C1. Oh, wait, you guys didn't see me do that. Let me do it again. Present. All right. So again, let's do this again. You can, so it generated 10 of these orders. So now if we go and we look at my balances, So we also at Radiant have technical writers who are going to turn all of this into written content and guides, which is not something I'm very good at. But I'm like, part of this is just to give people alpha and like get people to teach people to use Penumbra. And then the other part of it is to a certain extent how to just provide content for them. So anyways, we're doing this. Now I have a lot of position IDs. And I can take my position ID from like the last batch. I can go and I can take it to the Dex Explorer. And I can go look at my position ID. So you can see this position ID is trying to, so it got filled and closed. So this is that auto close function. So like it had 27 USDC in it and it got filled and then it closed. So now let's say I want to just like kind of reset everything and close all of my positions, collect all of the funds from everything that is. What was your question, Dean?
It got filled and closed. Can you easily tell for how much or at what price?
Yeah, you can tell what price it was on average because it was only at one price. Like it could only get filled at 55 cents.
I was thinking if a whole group of them got closed, but yes, this is a single one. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any easy way of seeing how like a whole group of them, and like that duplicate functionality does everything at one price. And if we go look at the order book,
whereas the linear does it on a spread, right?
It does it on a spread.
Yeah.
So then I was just going to show how to clean all of this up. And withdraw your funds. It's always useful to know. So then you can do, so you have this so like you can close things position ID by position ID. You can also just close everything. And so like while that's happening, actually it might be nice to share if I'm fast enough. So in my assets, yeah, so like right now I have, this is my set of assets. Then, so we're closing the positions, which won't change my assets. So like I have all of this, like a lot of USDC is went into, then I can click withdraw all.
We don't see your command for that, by the way.
No, hold on. Good question. Yeah.
It is, however, seeing this fairly straight, the UI part and all these things, just realizing how magical it is that all the zero knowledge stuff is making this happen in such an open,
Yeah,
in such a
it's
hidden
completely.
way is just mind blowing.
I mean, you definitely run into like these frictions, but this is just, it's like kind of insane that it's all happening. So anyways, I ran this command, txlp withdraw all. And now, all right, so that's all done. And now we switch back to this. I hit refresh. And now I have a lot more because of all my limit orders. So that's like kind of a good trading life cycle of using Penumbra in its current state. I hear that eventually there's going to be a GUI for limit orders and LPing. But if you are adventurous, this is a great time to be trying out Pickly. Yeah, all of this data is gets recorded in your account in a way that we will be able to query it and assign it points in the future. So thanks, everyone. I think I'm going to be signing off for Friday night. All right.
Thank you for answering my questions.